Hey guys, this is Mel, and I am back to talk about the Vampire Diaries, episode 812, titled What Are You?, which premiered Friday, February 10th, 2017 on the CW. Guys, before we get started, quick reminder, spoiler alert. While I try not to summarize the episode, I really hope you go watch it first before you come back here to see what I have to say about the episode, because it was a great one, guys. And also, my video reminders are on screen as well, so I'll give you a quick reminder for all of that. And aside from that, let's start with the 10-minute clock, and let's begin with what happened. So, episode title, quote, what are you, came from Elena, said to Stefan back at the 80, or back in episode 105 at the very end, and it's repeated again at the beginning of 106, and then that starts off the whole I'm a vampire speech from him. Timeline-wise, though, it immediately picks up where 811 left off, and that is with the death of Enzo, Bonnie grieving over that, human Stefan driving away from the scene and just dealing about what's happening, and Damon is still in the car trying to get to Stefan before he got to Elena. Also, we found out in this episode that Stefan has been a Ripper for 2 months by this point. So there's that. Now, storyline-wise, I've actually counted 4 different storylines going on in this episode. So the first one was what I'm calling saving Stefan from Cade. Second one is Ethan Maxwell's discovery about the sirens and about Arcadius. Third one is about finding a human Stefan. And then the fourth one is about Enzo's makeshift funeral. So with regard to the first one, with saving Stefan from Cade, this is mainly because Damon finds out from Cade that now that Stefan is human, Cade is going to take Stefan to bring to hell, not actually waiting for him to live out however long he's going to live as human. So in order to stop this, Damon makes a deal where he has to hand over the Maxwell journal before midnight to Cade so that Stefan could be spared to live out the rest of his human life. So there is that. That one is also mixed up with the second storyline, which has to deal with the discovery made by Ethan Maxwell. We also get a name of a Bennett, and that is Beatrice Bennett, who was great friends with Ethan Maxwell. Unsure if there was anything going on between the two of them at all, but they definitely had a very strong bond between each other. So anyways, we find out through Ethan Maxwell's memories that Matt is suddenly connected to due to talismans, family heirloom talisman, is that the sirens had told Ethan how you can kill Cade, but they made it so that he can never tell anyone. He was able to write it down though. So there's that, and I'm calling it the death knife, a death knife. Apparently it was forged from death itself, from Cade or something like that. I have to go back and watch that scene. But it was found among the treasure room that the sirens had all their things in. Also, we found out that the Maxwell bell was originally meant to expel the sirens, and that's it. But when the sirens added the tuning fork to it, it made it so that when the bell rang 12 times, it would release hellfire on the surrounding land. So in order to stop it, the witches chanted a spell to not only curse the bell, but also to make it so that the hellfire that was released didn't go any farther than the coven of witches that were chanting around it. So they could sacrifice themselves to save the rest of the town. Now, storyline number 3, though, the finding human Stefan, was because he ended up getting arrested, and then that led to Caroline bailing him out through compulsion, and that led to them searching for Karen, the real estate agent that Stefan had left for dead in the previous episode. So thankfully they did find her, and they were able to get her to an ambulance, but because Stefan found her, she stabbed him, and then they just got further confirmation that Stefan has a cure in him because Caroline's blood can't heal him. So as you remember, Caroline experienced the same thing with Catherine back in season 5. So there is that. Now the fourth storyline deals with Enzo's makeshift funeral, and this is where we see Abby Bennett's return thanks to Caroline giving her a call because Bonnie wasn't answering anybody's calls. So Caroline reaches out to Abby in hopes that maybe Bonnie would open up to her mom. So together they tried to put Enzo to peace, only to realize that it's not Bonnie who's actually grieving, but she's feeling something else, and that is because at the moment of Enzo's death, when she had that burst of magic open from her, she actually opened a door to hell that was not only pulling Bonnie inward, but it's having Enzo call out to her type thing. So there's that, and the only way to shut it was to burn Enzo's body, which is what Abby does in order to save Bonnie, who had gone unconscious. So moving on though to tidbits, we find out again that Bonnie still doesn't have her magic. We also find out that the Maxwell family was not immune to the siren song. We see Ethan under the spell of Celine and Sybil. So there's that. We also learn that Damon and Stefan are no longer servants of Cade, as their deal to him was to give him 2 immortal servants. And since Stefan isn't human now, that kind of put the contract null and void. Next thing is that Damon actually fed his blood to Matt to save him from a heart attack, which was caused by him experiencing the memories that Ethan was connected to. And also, at the very end, we see Stefan being kidnapped by a hooded figure. I'm thinking, at first I thought it was Matt maybe, but now I'm thinking it's somebody else, and I'll get to that later on though. But moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, it has to be the very end, and that is because Kai came back. He interrupted Damon and Alark when they were talking about thinking of a way to kill Cade, and apparently Kai has another idea to kill Cade instead. So the fact that Kai is back, first off, when we last saw him was Damon beheading the vampire heretic in 622, and that's just like, I wasn't expecting that. I kind of saw some promotional pictures about Kai's possible return in the next episode, to see him at the very end, and this one was totally shocking, and I absolutely loved it. So let's move on though very quickly to top 3 favorite moments. Favorite moment has to be the scene between Damon and Alark in the vault, or the Siren's treasure room, I guess you can say, when they were finding the death knife. Alark's still pissed about Damon for giving up the journal, but I did like the fact that Damon actually read the whole journal before he handed it over to Cade, so he was still able to retain the information that they were searching for in the journal. And then it was just an added bonus that Kai interrupted them and saying, we'll have a better idea type thing, because now it has me wondering, why is he back? How is he back? Is it possible that he came back through the door to hell that Bonnie had unwillingly opened? But I guess we'll get back into that later though. But second favorite moment for me has to be Matt's little trip into his subconscious, where he accessed the memories of Ethan Maxwell. The only way he was able to do that was because he was holding the Maxwell talisman, I believe it was, and that's how he was able to connect with his ancestors' memories. I really liked this because not only did it give us more information about the whole origin of the Maxwell bell and about the weapon that could disorient the sirens, but I like the way it was done. It was a very cool way to give us a flashback without giving us the typical way we've been seeing flashbacks. Usually flashbacks are with the older being telling the story, and then us as a viewer seeing it play out. But this time we got to see Matt seeing it through the eyes of his ancestor, and he was reporting it to our characters about what he was seeing. So I really like how that was done too. So there's that. But now it has me wondering whether Ethan Maxwell really was looking like Matt, like a doppelganger, if you will, or if it was just Ethan looking like Matt because it was Matt seeing everything through Ethan's eyes type thing. So there's that. Last favorite moment I have to say would have to be between Matt and Bonnie at the very end. After Matt's crazy day, the first thing he did for himself was go and check on Bonnie, and he was just telling her she's one of the strongest people he's ever met. She could get through this, and he was just being there for her despite the terrible loss that she just experienced. He was being there for her, and I just really like that. It really shows their friendship, and after all the craziness, it shows Matt's priority in his friendship with Bonnie, and I really like that. So kudos for that. Let's move on to top 3 peeved moments. I don't really have any peeves, but I was a little disappointed that the title of the episode, What Are You?, didn't refer to anyone's new status in the present day. Like, I thought maybe, like, what are you? Originally, that was the whole I am a vampire conversation. So I thought maybe this what are you might have had something to do with Bonnie's new status, because I thought that power surge that she had at the very end of the previous episode meant that she had come into her powers, or maybe she unknowingly became something similar to Cade because of that burst of magic resembling his own post that created hell. So I thought it would have related to something like that, but that wasn't the case. So that was only a slight little peeve. So there's that. Moving on though, the what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? The fact that Stefan was being human again, the way that he was, how he had to process everything. I mean, to a point, Stefan's human, right? So he doesn't have to experience everything at such an enhanced level. So if he's feeling grief, obviously so. But as a human, it's like normal grief. As a vampire, it would have been like enhanced grief that he would have to deal with and shame and all that stuff. But at least with a human, he can kind of deal with it on a human level now. So that's the only upside you can kind of say to it. But now everything that Stefan's ever known is now shifted. So it was interesting to see how they portrayed that in this episode. And also Kai's return is going to be a huge reminder for me for that. Moving on though, quickly to random questions. I only have two. First one is, how is Kai back? Did he escape through the portal that Bonnie unknowingly created, like I mentioned before? Or is he just a ghost, an apparition or something? Or is he just messing with them? But I guess we'll have to wait and see. And also the second question is, who kidnapped Stefan at the very end? I'm wondering if it was actually someone who's still alive, like maybe Matt, or if it's someone who came back from the dead like Kai. So there's like that. And also, is it an enemy or is it a friend? But we'll find that in one moment. Predictions, let's move on to that. Based off the promo for 8/13, it looks like Kai offers to help Damon kill Cade, but Alaric doubts his intentions and he's about ready to kill him. But then Kai quickly offers to bring Elena back, which Damon agrees to do. And it also looks like Stefan wakes up in the woods, and it looks like Bonnie is surprised to see something. Based off the synopsis, though, for the episode, for 8/13, it reads, Evil in the Past. Damon and Alaric come face-to-face with an old enemy after they obtain a weapon that may be able to destroy Cade. Stefan is held captive by a surprising acquaintance and is forced to confront a dark secret from his past. Meanwhile, Caroline and Matt try to keep Stefan's violent history from destroying him. Cade focuses attention on Bonnie and digs deep into her mind. Okay. So with that all said, we know that the old enemy coming to help Damon and Alaric is going to be Kai. Now, based off of the surprising acquaintance that has held Stefan captive, when I hear that, I'm thinking Lexi. Because I know Lexi is dead and everything, and she supposedly found peace before the other side got destroyed. But now with the discovery of hell, did she really find peace, or did she just go straight to hell, since all vampires are marked for hell? And if that's the case, maybe Lexi came through the same way that Kai did, and maybe that's why she's there to help Stefan back, maybe. So that could be one thing. I hope so, because we haven't seen Lexi since season 5, and I miss her. So there's that. And that's all I can really say about that, though. But I mentioned that since we are in the last 4 episodes now, on screens are going to show all the familiar faces that we've seen so far. Again, 10 have been reported to have been coming back. So far, we've only seen 8 of them. 1 more we know is going to happen in the series finale, and that is Nina. So whatever Petrova doppelganger she's going to portray is going to be number 9. So who is going to be number 10, and is that going to be the surprising acquaintance, or are we going to see more than 10? Because I'm still waiting for Jeremy to come back. I'm still waiting for that brief cameo from him, or even just a longer scene even. So that's about it, guys. So what did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your own thoughts, theories, opinions, what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. Also, if you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, quotes, news, all that good stuff, all in one place, so you can check me out and follow me there if you like. It's also attached to my WordPress account, as well as every other account I place online, fanfiction, YouTube, Tumblr, and Livejournal. So you go check that out if you want. Also, again, with Livejournal, if you want a detailed recap of the episode, a play-by-play, if you will, with a step-by-step reaction of my first time viewing the episode, check out the Livejournal link down below. It'll be included there. It'll be made public very shortly. Or soon, hopefully. So you can go check that out there. I've been doing them for a few years now, though. It's a great way to remind me what happened in a certain episode, especially when since I usually remember episodes based off of ship milestones. So there's that. And that's about it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you come back next week to hear what I have to say about the next episode. We have 4 left, guys. But until then, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.